we've been living with our eyes half open. Maybe we're bent and broken. We were meant to live with thunder.
That's so sad.
So we live inside.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. It doesn't matter. You're watching us. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
This is the Anointed.
I did a big yawn.
Anointed. The Anointed Chaos Podcast. I am Luke.
I am Tony.
My name is Jeff. And today our podcast is going to be about forgiveness. It's a really good
one.
It's another big one. So we can go a lot of separate ways with this. Tony is going to start us off. He's going to be giving us one of his verses.
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys Colossians 3:13. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord has forgiven you.
Ooh, that's a good one. The one that stood out to me when I was doing the research was Ephesians 4:32. And it was, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as in Christ God forgave you. And I know everybody's gone through something in their life where you had to forgive somebody or where it was hard. You didn't know if you could ever forgive somebody. So that's what this one, we're going to dive into it.
Yeah. The definition of forgiveness is a decision to let go of resentment and anger. You have to do both. You can't just do one or the other.
It's always hard to do both, right?
Yeah, most definitely, yeah. Forgiveness is a big topic in Jesus' New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's all Jesus' testaments, but preferably in the New Testament, forgiveness was brought up a lot throughout the New Testament, and how forgiving one another, turning your cheek, giving the other eye, all those that we've been hearing all our lives.
Yeah, I mean, this week alone, somebody can easily say, like, you got mad somewhere, or somebody cut you off.
Yeah.
Or something happened where you're just like, you were angry, you were angered.
I think I struggle with that part of it, where that anger gets the best of me, where I'm driving, there's a slow person in front of me, and I'll be like, get out of my way. I got somewhere to do. I got somewhere to be.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I struggle in that aspect. I'm very impatient.
Okay.
I think impatient is part of that underlying topic of it.
Okay. I can see it. I can see where you're going with that.
So everybody remembers how the last 2 episodes he said he doesn't struggle with anger. I was just pointing that out. He's alive.
She calling you out.
I never said I struggled with anger. I said it in a different aspect.
No, you said you never struggle with anger, but right now you said in that aspect the
I'm pretty
anger.
Sure I said I don't struggle with
the anger
hitting people.
We should do like a rewind. We replay red flag throw.
Challenge flag.
Challenge flag. I'm
Challenge
challenging
flag.
you. I'm challenging you. You know what, though? We are talking about forgiveness. So let's go ahead and forgive my husband for all of the lies he be telling.
Jesus.
But, yeah, I think forgiveness has a lot of topics that it's just in everyday lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those struggles.
I honestly agree. I mean, forgiveness can go into a lot of other topics. So, like, for me, first thing that I think of is when I've been done wrong. Or when somebody's done me, when you've been done wrong.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to, I'm a very nice person. I've always been a very nice person. But when somebody hurts me or when somebody does me wrong, it's one of those things like where you hold a grudge. And yes, you can forgive somebody for something that happened in the past. You can move on from it. But for me, I think what happens with me is I have like this anger that comes out towards the situation. So it's not like I truly forgive them. it's like I still have it in the back of my mind, and it's like
you can't let it go.
And
yeah, but that's Jesus's main topic of this whole thing was that specific. What you're talking about is what he was saying. Forgive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
And it's hard. I mean,
Yeah, most
it's
definitely.
it's truly a hard thing. Like, you know, especially when bad things happen to you.
Yeah.
You don't want. You know, you don't want people to be. You don't want to get angry. I mean, you don't want to hold grudges. You know, and the Bible doesn't want you to do that. You know.
Yeah. My thing is, John basically says we have to die daily. That means ask for our repentance daily. And I struggle with that and asking God for forgiveness when I'm very prideful, like I was saying. So sometimes I feel like, no, I didn't do nothing wrong today.
Mm-hmm.
When I think I know I did stuff wrong, and it was like in my mind, I'm like, no, I didn't do nothing wrong. So I don't have to ask for forgiveness today.
Yeah.
I don't have to repent today. Maybe tomorrow. I'll repent tomorrow, but today I was an angel.
No.
But that's where I struggle, because in the end of the day, it's like, no, like, Tony, hold yourself accountable to your actions. And yes, you did. Like that time that person got in front of you and you gave him the evil eye as you drove by him at 100 miles per hour, that's bad.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not just in driving. It's everything that you do.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh yeah, like when we both own our own business, and like when we're doing filters, we work with pools. But like when we're doing something with our job, and something hits us, or we get hurt, and we're like, damn, like where I feel like at the time, oh no, I'm fine. But when I think back about it, it's like, dang, I probably shouldn't have used that word. I shouldn't have let the anger get the best of me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like I read last week with a verse from Peter, the devil's a roaring lion seeking who he may devour.
Mm-hmm.
So I think in that points in time, at those points in times, he knows when it's like my weakness.
Mm-hmm.
As so he knows everybody else's weakness.
Now the other thing too, when it comes to forgiveness, it may not be other people. It may be forgiving yourself. What do you think about that?
That's a good one.
Because every day, just like you were saying, it's hard to, you're bringing your pride into it. It's hard to realize someone's own mistakes.
But I think that's where, like I was explaining to you, Jesus' main purpose was not to show, so like let's say I did my wife wrong. We'll use an example. It's not for my wife to get healing with Jesus. It's me to get healing.
Mm-hmm.
When I ask for forgiveness, it's making me closer to God.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily her, because she didn't do the wrong. I did the wrong. So it's me asking for forgiveness is getting me closer to God. Or Jesus.
Yeah, I get you. I get you on that for sure. I think the real thing is like.
So like when I'm saying like, oh, I didn't do no wrong today, that's hindering my walk with God, because it's like, no, you did do wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You should ask for forgiveness and you should pray about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's what I struggle with.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, I for sure struggle with forgiveness. Like, I hold grudges. I'm not gonna lie, I hold grudges. I get angry at people for people who have done something to me in the past. I get angry at something because I don't like a certain situation. Like, and it's so easy. Words are so easy to say, just like when you say I'm sorry, but do you truly mean you're sorry? Do you truly mean that you forgive that person for what just happened by just saying certain words? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy nowadays to just even say, I mean...
It's like a cop-out.
Yeah. Like, it's so easy to just be like, yeah, I forgive you, I apologize, I'm sorry. But do you mean it in that situation, though?
Let's be honest, though. Like, 90% of the time, somebody doesn't really mean it. Especially if you know they're not walking with God, they're not doing it the correct way.
I mean, I'm saying, though, even for people who are walking with God, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
Do you know if someone, how can you tell if someone truly forgives you? That's a good thought. It's a good something to think about.
But that's also in the Bible too, where it tells you like, pretty much like, don't worry about if they really forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
Worry about your actions and how your heart feels.
Okay. I get that.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, I think I'm a little bit more of you and of me because I'm super selfish.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask my wife, she's more of the, I'm not going to say she forgives more. It's just she's more understanding of situations to where, like, if people owe me money, I'll, like, not, like, hold it against us, but more of the aspect of, like, I'll keep bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be joking about it. Like, oh, hey, you owe me $50.
Yeah.
Just joking about it. Oh, get me next time when you got it.
Yeah.
But deep down, I'm like, no, where's my $50 at? Like, you owe me $50. And my wife's more like, Tony, you're not going to see that $50 again.
Yeah.
Like, don't bring up the $50. Like, every time you see John, don't bring up the $50. Like, you're joking around, Tony, but don't bring up the $50. And I think that's my aspect of where it's like...
Because you're not joking around.
I'm not joking around, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think maybe John thinks I'm joking around.
I don't think anybody thinks you're joking around.
No.
No.
I think we hope.
I think that's part of your problem with forgiveness is because you think something is owed to you, you can't let it go.
Yeah.
But nothing is owed to you. You help somebody.
Yeah.
And you should just let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta agree, honestly.
I think for me, forgiveness is a huge topic for me because, I don't know, most of my life has been about forgiveness. Like, just in my adult life.
I'm wearing a ring.
For sure.
I'm wearing my ring. So,
Yes! You're married today.
I'm married today.
Well, forgive him for that comment. He's single, ladies. He's single. But he's working on his forgiveness because he's got a lot of built up frustration and grudges he needs to let go before he get married.
Okay, you were proceeding. You were about to cry.
I wasn't about to cry. But good job throwing your wife under the bus. Forgiveness is something, obviously, you see, I have to work on every day with my husband. So I'm pretty good at this forgiveness thing. Almost too good sometimes, where I feel like I get taken advantage of. So I think that's a part. Not just on your aspect, but I mean in general.
Oh, in general, okay.
In general, I think sometimes people who are nice, like Lucas was kind of mentioning earlier, they get taken advantage of. Where the same crap just keeps happening over and over and over again.
But I think the devil's made it to where the nice person never wins. Like, the devil has made this world to where the nice person
I don't think that's true, though.
ever wins.
I get it. Okay, so getting on that topic, like, I mean, everything is connected into forgiveness, but I've always said that. Ever growing up, the nice person, I'm the nice person. Everybody knows me. I'll talk to anybody. I'll connect with anybody. I want to be that person. When you burn me, though, is when you don't like me, because that's a different type of person you're gonna see.
But that's the part where me and you are not alike, because for me, I don't know what it is. If it's my character, or call me gullible, call me whatever. Sorry, we got kids, but people can burn me, or I've gone through something, and I'll still try to see the good side of that person or the situation or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it in me to stop seeing the good in people, and I think that's almost a flaw.
Well, I see that. I think that's the thing is we're trying to be real. We're trying to be real. I used to be called Captain Save-A-Ho. And we're trying to be...
He does too, to an extent. He just is tired of being hurt.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that I'm 5 years older than him, I've experienced way more hurt than that boy across from me has. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That I don't have that, like, and I guess it's a good thing because I guess that's kind of what the Bible is saying. Like, you're supposed to live a life of forgiveness.
Yeah.
But at what point do you just get, like, so tired of being the one who forgives and being that bigger person?
In God's word, you don't. Look at, he gave up his life.
I'm not God, though. I'm just Ashley.
But be like Jesus, live like Jesus, become like Jesus.
Practice what you preach.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, God knew Judas was going to betray him, and still would feed him, break bread with him, have him at his table. So it's almost like you knew the snake at the table was there. So he still gave into it and still fed him, still did all that, knowing he was going to betray him.
Lucas,
All right.
Lucas, look what's on his hat.
For example, I'm gonna give you an example right now because this. I don't know if I could do it. If you were sitting at a table with everybody who has done you wrong or that you did them wrong, and they were all sitting in front of you, could you be...
The first one, yes, not the second one.
Could you be a godly person and actually sit down with all those people at the table? Because truthfully, I probably could try to interact with those people, but I know in the back of my head, I have some evil thoughts about a lot of people who have done me wrong and who have put me in bad situations in my life that I struggled to get out of, that I thought of suicide. I thought of getting rid of doing the worst things to myself. And I didn't. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me,
I think sitting at a table with everybody that's wronged you would be harder. Sitting at a table with I think sitting at a table with everyone who's wronged you would be easy.
Yes.
Sitting at a table with everybody you wronged
is
harder.
Yes.
Because it's like
I agree.
It's like that's happened to you many times.
Both times. The other way and the other way.
I'm just saying, like, if I'm being realistic, like anybody who
I think for me, oops, my bad.
Earthquake. We live in California, so we can say that.
I think for me, being at a table with people that have wronged me, I'm sorry, but that's become my life. I'm constantly surrounded by people who have wronged me, and I have to overcome it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so at one point in your life, I think maybe that will be just your lifestyle. Like, you'll have to kind of always be the bigger person. But my point was earlier is you get to this point where it's like, I don't want to be the bigger person.
No,
why do I have to be the person that is always, saying sorry or forgiving or being that person that's not going to start, issues, or being that understanding person, or, like, for example,
I get that. And that's why none of us are perfect at this table.
You don't ever get to go to that point on both sides. If the wronging and being wrong, the person doing wrong should always live in God and learn, and the person on the opposite side should forgive the person that did them wrong.
Okay, but I get
Okay, but what about the person that doesn't change what they constantly keep doing wrong, and you have to keep forgiving them?
But
at what point?
But you're getting to a point where we said I was the selfish one. Like, I'm waking up every day and saying, I don't do no wrong. I'm good. My hands are clean. I don't have to ask for forgiveness today. Everybody does wrong throughout the day.
I get that. I think what the point is, though, is like, realistically, at what point?
Where in the Bible does it say that when you get to your breaking point, then what do you do?
Yeah.
Keep praying. God got to his breaking point. Jesus got to his breaking point when he was in that garden, and he asked God, do I have to do this? Do I have to go on and keep going? The day before he knew he was going to die. The day before. And he got to that breaking point, and he told God, do I have to do this?
I get that. No, I get that.
So
but
he got to his breaking point.
When you're at your breaking point, can you be like that? And that's just a serious question.
Can anybody be like that? No.
No, that's
No.
what I'm saying. Let's put it into an example. We've all gotten to that breaking point.
Yeah, oh yeah. But what I'm saying is, we have to keep going, praying, because look he did it. He prayed 48 hours straight just so he can get over that breaking point.
Yeah. No, I get you.
He fasted. There's reasonings why people do what they do in the religious world, and sometimes it works.
I get that.
What about the times that it doesn't?
In what aspect?
Well, because you said only sometimes it works. So that
Praying
I'm
is
just like,
what is it called? 100% guaranteed that it's gonna make you feel better. You might not get the outcome that you want, but in His due time.
It says that somewhere. We gotta look that up because I've never heard of that.
I like I said, I know where you're going with what you're saying, because prayer is the tool that's gonna grow your fellowship and your strength and your faith within God Himself, within everything, with Christianity, with all of that. But at the same time, when these situations are upon you, like we're saying, we're putting our lives and comparing them and trying. We're all, like I said, none of us are perfect. And I'm the first person to say I'm not perfect. I try to. My whole thing with every day that goes by is try to be better than yesterday. Try to get better with every day that goes by. If you make a mistake, try to learn from that mistake so you don't make that mistake again. No matter what it is. I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm not the best person, or I know I'm not the
That's the same for, I think, all of us. I mean, I know for me, I'm not the best. As much of a best mom as I try to be, I have my days where I snap, or I get upset, or something's not clean enough, or somebody's homework is frustrating. I'm not the teacher. Why do I gotta help them with homework? Little things like that. Or our kids, they're all the way up to almost 14 now, so it's like those 14-year-olds, like, okay, you could do this by yourself. We all struggle. We're not perfect. I'm not saying anybody's perfect at all. We all have something that could be forgiven, or whatever the case may be. But I think what I'm getting at is...
But I think it's like we talked about it on Sunday, and our church talked about it a lot, that hope. Hope isn't it's not like a aspiration or anything. It's that good feeling that's in you. Like when something goes your way, where you get that good feeling. It almost reminds me of, and you guys are going to be weird that I'm going to bring it up, but Inside Out, when joy controls. Like when joy makes you happy, and that feeling of excitement, I feel like that's what is the main purpose of life. Like knowing that you got hope, you got Jesus on your side to get you through.
I get that. But also in Inside Out, if we're going that route, there's anger, there's anxiety, there's embarrassment, there's sadness.
Yeah, so what about all that storm?
But there's storms. There's storms. Think about it. There's storms. Jesus helped Peter through his storm. An actual storm.
I get that. I think the real thing...
Well, for lack of a better way, and being totally transparent, I mean, we've been going through a storm for like a minute. We're getting rained on, and lightning and thunder and all of it.
When it rains, it pours.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think, again, marriage is a great blessing. It's a blessing, but I think it's more of the way that I see my marriage is when I'm down and out, my wife is there to help me out. And I hope she feels the same way when she's down and out, I'm there to help her out. And I feel like Lucas doesn't have that person, so I don't, sometimes I feel bad for him because it's like...
Oh, when I'm down and out?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so when my wife, some days she'll be like, I'm a terrible mom. and this and that, and it'll be the opposite. Like, dang, like my daughter doesn't like me, or man, I'm struggling with this, or I'm struggling with that, and she'll see it, or she'll be like, you're not sleeping, like you're thinking too much, like go to bed, like. And I think where we balance each other out, I think that was the purpose.
You have the accountability of each other.
Yeah, well, I think that was the purpose of a marriage. Firstly, secondly, it's like God isn't like our marriage, but it's like this.
I get you. I think though where she was going with it, I saw where you grasped what she was trying to go, and I think that's just a little bit of it. I think with everything going on within you guys' lives, you know, not just, you know, marriage, but like with just all of the storm. All of the storm. And it doesn't involve just the marriage though. I think it's more of like financial. It's
but if you really think about it, why do most marriages end? It has to be financially, because
that's true.
That's so statistically
wrong.
Marriages end
because you fall out of love with each other,
because you cheat,
or because there's
infidelity. Fall out of love. I don't know about all that. It's because you cheat. Let's just be real.
So it's not fine. I feel like if finance is up there for sure.
No, I don't think finance is
I'm gonna get back to you guys, but I'm gonna look it up tonight.
Yeah, I think finances is one of the last things.
No, finances has to be up there because there's trouble with finances.
So then females
issues.
And males are money hungry? Are you saying that people only get together with each other because of money?
No.
Because that's a terrible marriage, in my opinion.
No, like let's just say we're struggling right now. It starts having more issues. More issues start arising.
I get that, but that's not because...
It's not because of money.
That's not because of money, though.
That's definitely because of money. The lack of...
I guess, I don't know. I think, for me, at my worst, I feel like my partner, in the long run, I'll always have a good bond with them, because if I was the broke person in the world, I would make sure I would lift up my other partner to be always high, always lifted, and I would try to motivate myself. So whenever I'm at my lowest, my motivation to forgive myself of me getting down to like the deepest part of my life, right now I don't have a significant other. I don't have none of that. Is my kids. My kids is my motivation to always go more and more and more. I don't, like I said, with the whole our business thing, when it comes to having more money in my pocket, it's not just because I want to have more money so I'm not struggling with bills or anything. It's because I want to do stuff for my kids. I want to be able to do more things. When I'm not able to do stuff with them, it's not because I can't go to a park or anything like that. I'm not saying I have to take them to places to have fun. I'm just saying my motivation is their happiness. My motivation for my faults in life, where I feel like I'm at my worst level, to forgive my own self, is making my kids happy.
It's like when they're not happy.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, so to me, just to go back to what Tony said about money, as your wife, I would live with you in a cardboard box and be happy. So to me, it doesn't have anything to do with money.
But it causes issues. It has to.
But
I think
does it though?
I think forgiveness and trust and lies and things like that is what causes issues. I don't think necessarily money causes issues.
Because in a sense, there's always ways to get money, realistically.
Yeah, I think money is so tangible. It's not something you could. It's something that's easily fixed. So that's not something you should fight about. If that's.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean, like if I got with somebody, and I mean personally, most of the people that I've ever been with in my life, long-term relationships, have all not have a job, have not had a car, still lived with their parents. You know, it's all been gone down the list of all of that. And I still love them for the person that they are. I still cared about them. I still went above and beyond for every single one of those people, whether it was leaving my whole family to go to a whole another part of the state, or whether it was literally losing my relationships with best friends. Right? My main thing was never to focus on financials, because no matter what, I don't fall in love with somebody for money. I fall in love with somebody for the person that they are.
No, I think you guys are misunderstanding. You're not falling in love. So I'm not marrying Kim Kardashian or Khloe Kardashian because they got money. It's not because of that. Let's just say there's a base, and we meet on this base. We meet on this line.
Mm-hmm.
And we walk this line. But money, if we don't have the issues, or we have money and then lose money, that's where the issues arise. It has nothing to do with you're with that person because of money. Like, I'm not with you because of money, and you're not with me because of money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in the aspect of the money, like, we can't buy our kids stuff. So then little arguments start. So that's where the little arguments start becoming bigger and bigger arguments in a marriage.
But I think those little arguments, like I was trying to kind of say earlier, because I get what you're saying, but I think those little arguments are so fixable.
Yeah.
Where the bigger issues are not. Those are the ones.
But are they to everybody, or are they just to us?
What? Money?
Little issues.
Money?
No. The issues. The arguments. Like me and you, I'm going to say 100% of the time, when we argue the night before, and then we wake up the next morning, it's like a fresh slate. Like, we don't want to keep the
hostility?
The hostility. Even though there is a little hostility always. But for the most part, the argument is done and over because we know, one, we got kids, and two, we got to show our union and our, what's that one? This?
Togetherness?
Okay, we'll call it togetherness. Togetherness and like a unity with our kids.
I get that. The other thing that it goes into it too is for me, the biggest thing for me, and I never wanted to live a life where I had to do it, is when you grow up with two parents for most of your life, and then you have kids of your own, and then you're with somebody who you had the kids with, and then you're no longer with the person. I never wanted to do that at all. I call that a generational curse, because in my family, my parents aren't together. My parents moved on, and I love it. I love that they're both happy with who they moved on with. My goal in life was to be like those old people that you see on the movies, or the old people that you meet when you're out there, and you're just like, I want to love like that. I don't want generational curses to be around my kids, or to be around. I'm going to find a love like that. Even whether if they have kids or whether they don't have kids, I'm going to love that person no matter.
So do you think love has evolved over the years? I'll give an example. My favorite movie is The Notebook. And I feel like Noah's love for her was like immensely. Is that how you say that? Immensely. Like, to a point where that kind of love, and I feel like social media killed that kind of love, where it's like,
for you,
easier to obtain.
Because that's the kind of love that your wife gives you. You could laugh about it all you want to.
I don't think so. I don't think it could be Noah's type of... That guy...
You don't think so? He
disappeared for like 15 years. She got remarried, and he was still in love with her.
I mean, let's think about it. Forrest Gump was always in love with Jenny.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Those are all little movies.
I'm just telling you, though, like, situations. Leonardo DiCaprio was in love with the girl and confessed his love for the girl, and then she let go.
She had to let go. We
ain't getting into that, but...
She didn't have to let go. There was plenty of room.
There was plenty of room. I'm Leonardo DiCaprio, my brother. But what I'm saying, though, when it comes to all of that...
I don't think love has evolved. I think... And I'm bringing it back to forgiveness. You have a lot of forgiving to do. Because I think since that's being your favorite movie, then you have the capability to love someone that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to put you on blast, but you don't love nobody that way.
It has nothing to do with that. I just
It has everything to do with
in my
that.
head, I don't feel like that kind of love exists at all.
So delete your social media, get rid of the problem, because that's what you just said was the problem.
No, I'm saying like in general, the love that was there in that generation doesn't.
I think it still does, though. I think
it does.
I think
you just have to love somebody that
yeah.
way. It takes effort and work and forgiveness to love someone like that.
I do believe. That I do believe. But it's a different type and it's a different type of form of shape.
I'm calling bullshit. Bullshit. I know this is a Christian podcast, but I am calling boo beep shit. Like, for lack of time, I have loved this man sitting in front of me through the craziest things you guys can possibly imagine. I am freaking Noah. I have gone through the most off the wall millennial crud with this man, and I'm still here standing. So for him to sit here in front of me and say that there's not a love like Noah, I just want to punch him in his face right now.
But granted, we've known each other for 13 years. 14.
And I hated you half of that. Let's be real, I just started loving you last year.
We're going on 2 years.
Honey, I just started loving you last year.
No way. But that's what I'm saying.
And that's what I'm saying. And I'm going to stand by what I stand by. That I think that love is capable.
Yes.
And that someone will do what they want to do.
That I do believe, because I feel like that, yes. But I'm meaning that type of love that Noah had. Like, for instance, people that have been married 50, 80 years. Like, how do you get to that point?
You work on it.
It's a process.
Again, you build it. But that type of love isn't that type of love that is now. Does that make sense?
No.
No,
You're totally wrong on this.
I'll be honest with you. I'm a lover. So whenever I'm in a relationship, I mean, and I can probably, if I really wanted to, I don't want to, I could go down the list and probably text or call any ex people, and I guarantee you they will tell you that.
But that's like saying, okay, let's just say you want, like what you just said, you want the mother, you wanted at one point in time, the mother of your kids to be in your life. Then why don't you work on it? Do you get what I'm saying?
He did.
Oh, I did. I've tried many times.
But that's what I'm saying. So when does God get involved in that aspect?
Oh, he has now. So now we co-parent, we blend, we still have our issues and stuff, of course, but we will never, and it's just the truth, we will never, ever get back together. Taylor Swift song.
But that's what
I'm just saying.
I guess.
I get what I know where you're going with that.
Yeah.
But I did the time. I put the effort in full force.
You've never put that effort in for anyone but me.
But you, yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. I've done the time. I did the full force. I am past.
And I don't think you even put your full effort in. I think that's why you're so skeptical about this whole like old school love versus new school love. Is because you're so guarded from the life that you're used to living that you aren't fully ready to give that old school.
Not necessarily. Like, for instance, like I can go down the line on many reasons on why I feel like that. Like, okay, for instance, back then when you got with somebody, you didn't have kids. You had kids after. I took in 3 of my kids. Boom. So it just brings a different dynamic.
And I took in 6 of your kids.
But that's what I'm saying. It brings in a different dynamic to where that didn't happen back then. Do you
It did happen back then. I think it was just not.
There's no social media. There's none of that
There wasn't
stuff.
anything to tell you that that's what was happening.
And I get what you mean though. It is.
Back then they painted this like perfect picture, and that's why we all have that like image.
But it's
that we
but
want.
I don't
this.
like the perfect picture. I liked the fact, like that movie Instant Family. They weren't perfect. They were, and I feel like my family is that way.
Well, I like it's similar blended. They weren't perfect at first.
Yeah.
They hated each other.
But that's what
It
I'm
took
saying.
a lot. It takes a lot to make something happen, and I get what you're saying. It's a different. You're thinking that.
And I'm not saying I love my wife less than Noah loved his. I'm saying in the aspect of the dynamic of it was way different.
So then that's what you're trying to say. So say the
The
dynamic
surroundings of life were way different. Not necessarily
the love.
The love.
Yeah.
Because the way you were coming off is the love is different than when it was there. Where that to me is not true. The love is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Your surroundings is different. Yeah, we don't live in those times where everything is hidden and closed behind doors and people have babies behind the door and are sent away to camps and stuff to have babies and give them away for adoption. We don't live like that now. We live boldly out, social media, pictures. Everybody knows what this person's doing and what that person's doing.
But I think I like that in an aspect of, like I said, I'll rather air my dirt out and for everybody to see than for people to think like I'm a great dad.
You are a great dad. That I can give you.
But I'm saying in the aspect of I struggle.
Maybe you weren't a great dad, but I think you're to a point where you are literally trying to be.
But that's my point. It's like I'll rather people see me struggling and trying than for people to see me in an aspect of.
So for me, I hate that. I hate the I don't want people to see what I'm doing. So on another story, kid's mom likes to post stuff and have people recognize it. I don't need no recognition. I don't care if you think that I'm being a good dad. I don't care if you think that I'm being a bad dad. I'm gonna be honest with you. I care for my kids, and I cared for my kids for almost 2 years by myself. So for me, I don't need no recognition.
You're a good dad, Lucas.
I don't think anybody.
Don't get all upset and worked up.
I don't think anybody needs to have any recognition from anybody. I get people who live in different families, but I think if you know that you're trying, that's all you need, in my opinion. And any moms or dads or anybody out there, single moms, single dads, or people who are together, as long as you're trying, that's all that matters. Don't let anybody, family, friends, anybody, co-workers, anybody tell you differently, because you don't need their opinion. You just need your opinion. You just need what you're doing in your life, and that's all. As long as you put food on the table, you're giving your kids a good life, you're taking them to school, you got a car, you're doing the best that you can, that's all that matters. And that's what you got to realize. Because nowadays, people think you got to paint this big picture of you got to live in this fancy house. You got to be posting that you're going to Disneyland. You got to be doing all this extra stuff. You don't.
I think that's...
You don't.
I think in the aspect of me and my wife, we've mentioned we've struggled a lot recently. And I think it opened mine and my wife's eyes to where we noticed, like, we'll cut back on, like, certain things. We changed our phones. We got Samsungs now. And me and her looked at each other like, we're fine with these. Like, we're happy with our phones. We don't need the fancier iPhones that we're paying way more for. Like, our phones do the same thing the iPhone does. As long as I could call and text her and we got social media, that's fine. And I think the way that she explains it, it's like it enlightened us to, like, we didn't need any of that. And I think when me and her first got together, we wanted that. We wanted that big car. We wanted that nice fancy house. We wanted all that stuff. And when everything hit the fan and it came crumbling down, I think, one, we relied on Jesus in our relationship and our family. And we started going to more church. Like, we don't miss church. And when we do, we're sad about it. So it's like in the aspect of, like, where we changed our priorities, I think a lot more people need to do that.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, I'd love to get more into that topic. As you can see, I'm super passionate about stuff like that. I don't think we need to post about ourselves. I don't think you need to post that you're praying. I don't think you need to post about a lot of stuff, if I'm being honest. And you know what? That's going to be the next topic. That's going to be the next podcast that we do, is about social media, because I really, truly want to dive in. And I really want people to notice, like, how passionate I am about this stuff. Because you're getting the real Lucas. I don't go on my social medias, go on all that. I don't post about any of that stuff. I don't look.
Besides the Snapchat.
Snapchat is just me singing in the car.
He loves to sing.
That's what I'm saying. I don't care for people's preference on my life. You like me, or you don't.
I feel I'm that way, but I feel like obviously I'm 4 years older than you. So I'm 1 year younger than my wife. Throw that out there. I think, Lucas, when you start getting to my age and your sister's age, you do start thinking about, again, I was like you, and you can ask your sister, like, more of the aspect of, I don't care, and I'm still, like, struggling with it. Like, I don't care if my family likes me or doesn't like me. I don't care if my family talks to me or doesn't talk to me. And I'm starting to realize now that I'm getting older and older that it's not that I want to or have to, or not that I want to, but it's that I have to care what people think on me in the aspect of I want them to see me as not a good person, not a good dad, not any of this. I want them to see me as a good Christian.
Okay.
In that aspect where I think with me changing myth and all that, I was scared. I was super scared on how people would see me. And I think your sister pushes me a lot to a point where it's like, I don't want to. And then I'll just be like, just do it. And she'll do it. Or whatever the situation is, to where it's like evolving me into a person that God wants me to be. Not necessarily who the world wants me to be, because I think I'm on you in that aspect. I don't care what the world thinks of me, as long as I care what Jesus and my immediate, my wife and my kids think of me. And I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah. No, I mean, realistically, I mean, I'd rather have just my family, and I mean, realistically, I that's it. I don't need anybody. Even if I got famous, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care about it.
Yeah,
I would be like NF. The Christian rapper. He does not care about the money or the fame or anything like that. Yeah, it can help. You could do a lot of stuff with that.
Yeah, like for an instance, the church helped us out. We're struggling, so the church helped us out, and me and my wife, we went through our kids' stuff, and the first thing I wanted to do, which is not really like me, but it's like we're throwing away all these good clothes, and it's like, well, let's give to somebody that needs it, because in the aspect of we got help, let's help out now too. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like in a way Jesus wants us to be like that. Like when we get help this person, then this person's gonna want to help this person, and then it's like a chain, I guess, chain reaction.
It's like when you go to like Starbucks or somewhere, and then they pay
it forward.
Yeah,
they pay it forward.
Yeah,
so.
I've never done that, but I don't go to Starbucks. So.
But I know this is coming to the end. This is a big episode.
Sorry for all the screaming in the background. We got all our kids here.
But, this was a good episode. I think it was a vulnerable episode, and I think
more vulnerable. Yeah, for sure. Nobody wants to forgive, but I think that's what Jesus, when making a human, he knew that was going to be the biggest goal for him to overcome, was forgiveness in the heart and the soul.
I get that.
Because he mentions it numerous, amazing amount of times.
Yeah.
One throughout the New Testament, and he does mention it in the Old Testament.
A lot, yeah.
So it's like one of those things where he wanted people to forgive each other. He wanted people to love each other. He wanted just in that aspect, yeah. Like, way off subject, but I want to get to a point where I'm not only talking about God on podcasts or on my chat, on my clothing brand. Like, I want to go to people and be like, Lucas does it for me, to be honest, but he'll be like, oh, we own a Christian podcast and we're Christians and stuff. I'm more of the like, one, I don't talk a lot, and he could tell you I don't talk a lot to people, but in the aspect of I want to go to people and be like, come to our church, join our church, or I think that would be like a goal for me this year.
I get you on that. I think the goal for me, I mean, and again, I'm not saying I need any recognition or anything like that. It's just be a role model. And I'm not saying I want to be a role model for everybody out there. I'm not saying any of that. I just want to be a role model for my kids.
Yeah.
I want to be a role model to my nieces and nephews. I'm a coach. I want to be a role model to the little kids that I'm helping them grow with whatever that I'm teaching them.
Yeah, but I think that was the main reason we started it too, was because when we talked about it, it's like we don't need to save 100 people.
No.
As long as we save just one person or bring one person to our church, and Jesus saves them, because we don't save, but Jesus will save. If we bring one person to our church and they get saved by God, I feel like we've done our due diligence. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we're coming towards the end. Our next podcast is for sure going to be on social media. I'm letting that known right now. And if you guys have any questions or anything, I know this one is a very long episode, but please let us know. I'll even go on Instagram Live or whatever just to answer a question if you guys want.
Yeah.
So just let us know. I mean, I really want to reach out to people, talk to people.
Legitly are with each other every single day now.
So, but this is the Anointed Chaos Podcast. I am Luke.
I am Tony.
And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode.